Rlds Restoration Churches Community of Christ Part 6. Lectionary Usage. The Community of Christ employs a 3-year lectionary cycle based upon the Revised Common Lectionary (RCL) used by other Christian traditions. The readings from the biblical canon are those of the RCL except where the inspired version differs in versification from other biblical canons. In these instances, verses from the RCL are given along with the corresponding verses of the inspired version. In addition, the Church has added readings from the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants. However, after feedback and to allow flexibility, the Church stopped using the 3-year cycle for Book of Mormon and Doctrine and Covenants readings, and now these readings are chosen by the authors of the worship helps published each year and are to be tied to the chosen theme for that Sunday. Worship helps based on the lectionary are published by the Herald House as well as posted on the official denominational website, and they include sample orders of worship with recommended hymns from the official denominational hymnal. Community of Christ sings. Ecumenism and interfaith activities. The Community of Christ has made efforts to reconcile with traditional Christianity and to reach out to other Christians. The Community of Christ frequently notes that it has never sanctioned polygamy, it has always ordained persons of any race, it has no required creedal statement, asking only that people profess faith in Christ as a condition for baptism, it has accepted Trinitarian doctrine, it has been in dialogue with the National Council of Churches (NCC) 43, the World Council of Churches (WCC), and Christian churches together, and it has practiced open communion since 1994. 44. On November 10, 2010, the Community of Christ was unanimously approved for membership by the National Council of Churches, becoming the 37th member communion of this ecumenical body. 45. In its World Conference in 2002, a Committee on Ecumenical Interfaith Relations was established to explore the possibility of entering into the membership of the WCC. In its report for the 2004 World Conference, the committee concluded that while there was an openness to further meetings and discussions, there were concerns about several issues including new entrance criteria based on theology and the Community of Christ's acceptance of extra-biblical scriptures. The report states that this warrants caution in their approach, but the dialogue would continue. 46. Women's participation. The Church's priesthood was open to women in 1984. In 1998, Gail E. Mengel and Linda L. became the first 2 women apostles in the Church. 47. At the 2007 World Conference of the Church, Becky L. was ordained as the first woman to serve in the First Presidency. 48. 49. In 2013, Linda L. became the first woman elected to serve as president of the Council of 12. 50. In 2016, Stassi D. Cramm became the first woman presiding bishop of the Church. 51. 52. And Jane M. Gardner became the Church's first female presiding evangelist. 52. LGBT participation. The Church accepts non-celibate LGBT people. For a period of time, the Church under the presidency of W. Grant McMurray allowed the priesthood ordination of practicing homosexuals, something which he acknowledged was already occurring. The Church would later halt this practice, prohibiting the ordination of sexually active homosexuals. However, the Church allows those who were ordained against policy to continue in priesthood office. 53. In 2012, the Community of Christ held national conferences in Canada and Australia, both of which recommended to church leadership to change standing policies regarding ordination to include those in same-sex marriage Canada and in marriage like same-sex committed relationships Australia, and in Canada to extend the sacrament of marriage to same-sex couples. Official policy changes for these nations have since been released that follow the recommendations of these conferences. The Community of Christ's 2013 USA National Conference, like those in Canada and Australia, recommended changes. Those changes were recommended for the extension of the sacrament of marriage to same-sex couples in states where same-sex marriages are legal, the extension of covenant commitment services for same-sex couples in states where same-sex marriages are not yet legal, and extending eligibility for the priesthood call sacrament to all church members regardless of sexual orientation or open same-sex relationship. As a result of these recommendations, church leadership released in March 2014 policy embracing the recommendations for the Church in the United States. Ireland and Great Britain held a special multi-nation conference in 2013 which also recommended changes to policies similar to those of Canada, Australia, and the United States. The changes have yet to be approved by the First Presidency and Council of 12 for Ireland and Great Britain, with the likely time frame to develop, approve, and implement interim policies being up to 1 year after the 2013 conferences. 54. A petition by the Australia Mission Centre Council to permit same-sex marriages was approved by the First Presidency in 2017. 55.